Hey guys, Daryl here. Just got back from my bike ride, and as usual, it's got these wheels turning. All right, this is a touchy subject. I got to be careful how I approach it. One thing I don't like talking about things that I don't have a lot of knowledge of. I don't like just speaking out about something if I'm ignorant of it. I do not like to presume that I, in any way, shape, or form, know what it's like to be a black American. I'm not a sociology major. I do not have a doctorate in sociology. So, let me talk about things I do know. I have a history of drug use. Uh, I'm not proud of this, but when I started out, I was working for an architectural firm making pretty good money. I was the youngest member in that firm at 20 years old. I was working with guys from Yale and Harvard, and I was making good money. And one of my friends introduced me to going down to New York City to the Bronx and buying cocaine. So initially, I started off selling it. Um, Let me tell you about some stuff I do know about. Okay, let's talk about crime. Obviously, one thing I do know is there's a disproportionate amount of we'll go with men for now, black men in prison as opposed to white men. Okay, the white mindset on this. Let me just tell you, I'm not saying it's my mindset. I'm telling you. Okay, the more racist view is that black people just commit more crime. It's their nature. That is they might not say this out loud. They might not say this in front of other people, but that is the mindset of some racist white Americans. Then there's the liberal Americans that will say, well, because of socioeconomic factors, black people go out and they have to commit more crimes. It's the fault of the system that they have to go out and commit more crimes to survive. I don't subscribe to that either. Not. I was gonna say not really, but there's just so much more. This whole thing is so deep. I want to use the term rabbit hole. Like I said, I want to talk about what I do, what I am familiar with. Okay? Now, I think one of the factors is that black people are just looked at more suspiciously. They are. I wonder this. I'm not a black policeman, but I wonder if black policemen look at their own race more suspiciously. Um, I think there's a lot of times there's an equal amount, like the same amount of white people and black people committing one crime, but black people just tend to get caught more, are looked at more suspiciously, and will get arrested, be more likely to be investigated, arrested, and more likely probably to get convicted, and more likely to probably get a harsher sentence than the white person. And again, there is factors on this. I know I'm not a rich guy. I know my justice is not the justice that a millionaire would get. I can't afford a prime rate lawyer. I would probably have to go with a DA, a lawyer appointed to me, and therefore I'd probably be more likely to get convicted. There's so many layers to this. Like I said, I think basically, uh, black people are probably more likely to get caught than white people, honestly. And I think probably a lot of times white people are going to be let go on the same charges that a black person will end up maybe even doing time for. I don't know if this is true or not, but and I don't like saying this stuff, and I don't feel especially comfortable talking about it. But somebody's got to. I mean, how do you solve this issue if you don't talk about it? So I don't want to assume anything. I do not want to put myself in a black person's perspective because I do not know it and I can't speak about it. I'm just going to speak about what I understand. All right. Now, people will bring up drugs. A lot of times, drugs drugs All right, drugs. A lot of times black people will be looked at more for drug dealing, and I'm familiar with somewhat with drug dealing. And I want to point this out that I got to be careful how I talk about this. If you look a little further up the chain of distribution, in order to move larger amounts of drugs, you have to have connections. You have to have transportation. You have to be able to interact with government agencies, with custom agencies. And a lot of time, I'm guessing that it's more multicultural when you go higher up the chain in distribution of drugs. I think it becomes convenient to use a certain segment of society to work for these people. This is what I think happens. I think a lot of times the people higher up in the drug chain will go to these communities and get people to work for them. People that a lot of times probably younger people. And then these people are taught this, stitches get stitches rule. And what you have there is pretty much a disposable employee that can just make money hand over fist for you. And he gets caught, he goes to jail, and you just get another person to do it. And that is truly appalling. Some people, I think good people are good people, either white or black. I think if you're raised good, there's just good people. There's good people that understand that what comes around goes around. You treat people how you want to be treated. You don't steal because you don't want, it's wrong. And I think that goes through both white and black people. That doesn't know any racial barriers. But I think if you're in a desperate situation and you're presented with a way to get around it, it's something that some people could fall for, either white or black, selling drugs. It could be portrayed as an easy way to make money. And if you're not, like I know myself, as I get older, I know better. I know there's no such thing as, free or easy money, and you learn this stuff as you get older. So I think a lot of time age comes into play here too. Younger people could be more easily tricked into this. So you have different cultures that are higher up in this drug chain and a lot of times in these areas, black people don't trust a lot of police with good cause, I'm guessing. So then you have police less likely to be called into these neighborhoods. So that's where you set up to sell your drugs. You're more or less using this area and this culture to make money for you, to sell drugs. So I'm not going along with this black people deal drug stuff, because I know that's not true. It's all about money with drugs. And when it comes to drug using, it's about desperation and trying just to not face the situation, to escapism. And that's these are my thoughts on it. So like I said, I speak on things I know about. And I'm familiar with drugs, unfortunately. And I don't buy into this, black people are drug dealers. Crap. It is crap. I think that nefarious people, bad people of all cultures, try to make a quick buck, use their power and their money to get into the distribution of illegal substances. And then they use kind of black market economics. Where could they sell their drugs? Where are they less likely to get caught? Where are there less police? Where are the police less trusted? That's the neighborhood you want to go to. Who are the people that are more likely to be desperate to make money? Unfortunately, that's what you get, the situation here. It's not because anybody's a bad person, well, except for the people that are higher up dealing with drugs. And like I said, they could just as often be white or brown or black. So I'm not buying into this black people as drug dealers nonsense. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about. I do think one thing that I think is a big problem is prisons for profit. These things scare me because most prisons, as the way I understand it, are run for profit now by private enterprise, and therefore, the more people you lock up, the more money you make. That scares me, even as a white person. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. This makes people, why fix the social problems, the social ills of society, the smaller stuff? Why fix it? Because when you catch people and you lock them up, you're making money. If you fix these social ills, if you have less people that are desperate, less people that are committing crimes, then you're going to have less people getting arrested, and you're going to have less people in the prisons, and you're going to be making less money. That's a conflict of interest in a big, scary way. Losing one's freedom is one of the scariest things, I think, in this world, next to losing your life. And when you have for-profit prisons, people that earn their money, that become rich on taking away your freedom, that's a problem. That is a big freaking problem. And let me just make a note here. Donald Trump is well tied in. A lot of his associates are in the business of for-profit prisons and for-profit these custom agencies where they lock up the immigrants. I don't like using the term illegals or anything like that. Undocumented people. A lot of them are. So you see here, there's a conflict of interest here too with Donald Trump and all that. I mean, yes, it gets him votes from his base, but it also makes him and his friends money with these for-profit, taking away people's freedom to earn huge sums of money. That's a problem. All right, so I know I just scratched the surface here, and I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'm trying my best to talk about what I know about and not assume anything. All right, you guys have a good Monday.